Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Jacqueline Whitmore, and I am here, and so are the tree trimmers in the background. So if you hear anything going on, it's the tree trimmers. We are getting ready for hurricane season here in Florida, where I live, and so I didn't anticipate the tree people coming this afternoon, but hey, it is what it is, and I'm just happy to be here. So I'm really happy to announce my next guest, who I have worked with since probably this time last year. And when the pandemic hit, I had a lot of time on my hands, as many of us did. And I decided that I was going to do some how-to videos, some etiquette videos. And I met this young woman through the Florida Public Relations Association. She did a talk on how to produce TikTok videos. And even though I wasn't interested necessarily in TikTok videos, I was interested in doing Instagram videos, YouTube videos, and so forth. So my next guest is Kayla O'Brien. And Kayla is the founder of Kayla O'Brien Media.com, and she is an Emmy award-winning video journalist. She's worked for television stations, she's worked for newspapers. She now has her own company, and she helps not only small business owners, but business owners of all sizes to create and to enhance their personal brand through video production. So I'm going to be bringing Kayla on in just a second and introducing her. Hi, Kayla.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Well, I am so excited to have you because you have been instrumental in helping me promote my business for the last year. You've helped me learn how to create YouTube videos. You've helped me learn how to create thumbnails.
All that fun stuff.
I didn't even know what a thumbnail was. And no, it's not this.
Yes, not the thumbnail.
Not the thumbnail. So you went to school at the University of Central Florida. You graduated with a degree in broadcast journalism. Then you went on to work for the big bad world of television. And then all of a sudden you decided to become an entrepreneur. Now, why did you decide to branch out on your own?
Well, it was partly my choice and partly the industry at the time. So I started freelancing on the side. I worked for a national media startup called Where by Us. And it has different properties across the country. And I worked in Orlando for the publication here, creating video content about things in town, events going on. It was a really fun job, but it was a startup and they have ups and downs. And when the pandemic came around, they laid off almost all of their creative staff. So including graphic designers and video team. And so everyone across the country was gone. And that happened at the end of February. But thankfully, I was already doing my side work a lot in my free time and on weekends. So it kind of was a natural transition. And I had been toying with the idea for months if I should pull the trigger or not to, just take the leap and go by myself. But I was very comfortable at my job and I had never not had a job with a paycheck every 2 weeks. So it was a little bit scary for me. But when I got pushed out the door, I was like, all right, this is my time to try. And then so since March of 2020, cue the pandemic, that's when I've been on my own full time working at the business.
Well, what is the best thing about working for yourself?
It's got to be the freedom to schedule your own life. And that's one thing I always struggled with at work is having to ask for time off. Like, please let me go to the doctor, So I always got through it and was fine. But having that freedom to say, this is my schedule and, I would love to help you, but you have to kind of adhere to where I'm available. It's been a big change, but I really enjoy having that weight off my shoulders. Like I can just do what I want to do when I want to do it.
Yeah, we were talking about you going to Puerto Rico. You're going back.
Yeah.
Aren't you?
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, I don't know if I'll be working on this trip, but in the future, I mean, I do a lot from my laptop, so I could potentially travel and work. It is possible in today's, world. So it's an exciting feeling to have that option too.
And what have you found to be challenging about starting your own business?
So many things, but the big thing is getting used to the accounting and the, bookkeeping and things that I never had to worry about before because it was taken care of. So really jumping in with not knowing much about that and going through tax season and all that sort of fun stuff was a big learning curve for me. I'm still learning, but it's been an exciting thing to learn because now I feel like that knowledge can never be taken away. I have it. If I want to run a business for the next 40 years, I'll know the basics, which is really helpful. But also, staying on that time schedule that you set yourself. No one's going to call me and wake me up in the morning and say, "Where are you? You're not at your desk." So That's on me now. But that's also an empowering feeling that, okay, it is my responsibility to get things done on time and to, meet people and grow the business, and no one's telling me to do it, but I'm doing it anyway. So it feels good to accomplish that.
And every day is different, and all your clients are different. And you've met an awful lot of people in the last year.
Yes.
Big businesses, small businesses. How would you describe your ideal client?
My ideal client is someone like you, and I'm not just saying that. But what I mean by that is someone who's willing to take risks, to try new things, someone who's interested in the production of video and understands that it's a craft that takes some time to produce if you want to do it correctly, in my opinion. I mean, video is so common nowadays. Everyone has a video camera in their pocket now with their iPhone. It has the same capabilities as most cameras nowadays, but there is a difference, in my opinion, with storytelling, with professionalism, that bringing on someone like me brings up the value of what you're delivering by tenfold. So someone who understands that and is willing to learn and grow, and then as soon as a new platform pops up, like, let's try that out. That's someone who I really want to work with, because sometimes, especially in video, it's changing so rapidly that if you were in school 20 years ago in marketing, I mean, the stuff that you can do now didn't exist back then.
Right.
So it really takes someone who's open-minded and willing to learn, in the field, in the modern day, is going to benefit a lot.
So let's take an ordinary scenario. Let's say you get a call from a baker.
I would love that.
Who owns a bakery. So how would you coach that person into becoming more comfortable on video? What kind of suggestions would you give that person if he or she wanted to, as you say, tell a story about themselves or their business on video?
Sure. Well, it depends. Everyone's got different levels of comfortability on camera. Some people say, "I love it. I'm cool. I'm in front of a crowd. I'm great. Put a camera in front of me. I'm fine." And some people say, "If you put a camera in the room, I'm going to be uncomfortable." So establishing where you are in that spectrum is very important, because I don't want to give someone a script and say, "Hey, okay, deliver this," and then it's just uncomfortable city. Everyone, you can tell on camera that the person is just super tense and not themselves. So finding that out first is how comfortable you are with the process of video production. And then once you establish that, coming up with a plan to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish. So for a bakery example, is it you want people in the door from your brick and mortar store? Or are you looking to expand and do online delivery? Those are two different kind of strategies that you would go with. If it's just to come into the store, you really want to show off the location. You want to make people see what they're going to see when they walk in, the smell, not that you can have smell-o-vision, but you want to have people kind of envision what it would smell like and what type of person you are, what type of establishment you're running. And then online could be how convenient it is now and how the service is very fast and easy. And this is us here doing it for you. We're just a regular family that's now expanding out to the world. So it's just coming up with the right strategy will save everyone a lot of time. And deciding that early on, testing it, and then retuning it as you go.
That's very interesting because you could also take that a level further and you could teach that person how to do instructional how-to videos, how to make cupcakes.
Totally. Yeah. Especially if you're, comfortable with that. I'm sure everyone thinks maybe they're not, but if you had a small group of people that were in your bakery and just wanted to know more, how would you talk to them? How would you show off what you do to those people? And to me, and I've always pitched this to people when they say like, I don't know about the camera. A camera is way less pressure than a pair of eyes in person because you don't get that instant feedback. If you make a mistake, the camera doesn't go, it's just the camera. And 9 times out of 10, unless you're doing a live show like this, you can edit out all of those mistakes. So the pressure is really, really low. And especially with something like a bakery, which is so highly visual, you have the flour and you have the egg cracking and you have a mixer. I mean, you really want to be using video to your advantage because you have such a visual job and a visual business, as opposed to, and I'm not saying you can't use video for like a tech job, but it's much easier to do that as opposed to an accountant or someone who works in IT. It's not as great to shoot video, but someone like a hairstylist, baker, car mechanic, anything where you have things to get video of and to show off, even if people have no interest, it's still interesting to watch for a lot of people. You'd be surprised of the types of videos that do really well on YouTube, for example.
When I started working with you, you and I did one of our first videos was on how to do a Zoom video, how to operate on Zoom.
Yeah.
And I remember going around, I filmed it with my iPhone and you'd say, well, go in your living room and, mess up the pillows and have a messy setting and go in your office. And you were really great at coaching me and telling me what to film because all I had was this little device right here.
Sure.
And then what I did was I took the video footage that I had made and then I sent it to you. And then you added graphics and music and emojis and you made it more fun.
Yeah.
Because the etiquette industry, I guess it can be fun, but most of the time it's not all that fun.
Yeah. A lot of rules you got to remember at dinner parties.
Exactly. So that's what I wanted to accomplish. And that's just one example of what you can do is you can take someone's existing video and you can slice it up.
There's a whole lot you can do with, I call it raw video or native video. So video that has been untouched by an editor like myself or someone else who's video editing. And you can shoot a meeting, for example, or a Zoom call between you and a client or you and an expert on something. And people may watch it the full hour because they're really interested in the content. But you can also take that hour and chop it into different videos if you use the right graphics and the right storytelling devices. So for example, if we're talking for an hour, we've already covered a few different topics in, just our conversation now that I could start chopping up the video when you ask a question and then end it when I finished what I was just saying. And that could be its own living, breathing video that you put on YouTube and just add some text, some graphics to make it, feel like it's branded in your tone. And then now you have like 6 different videos from one long piece of content. And it's called your pillar content is the way that the people in the field talk about it. So this, for example, this live stream is your pillar content. It's the one that, we got ready for, we set up the time, we, sort of did our hair in my case.
Well, it is raining.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So this is the hard part, the time consuming part is to set this all up. It takes a lot of time, or not a lot of time, but it takes the most effort of this whole endeavor. And then once you have that, you really can take it as far as you want with how much different content you can make just in the editing process. And it's not necessarily obvious to the average person or someone who's running a business unrelated to video. But if you sit down with a video person like myself or someone else that kind of has this skill set, you really can find that you can maximize your time to get the most out there into the world. Because we're on so many platforms now with Instagram and LinkedIn and TikTok and Facebook and YouTube. It's like, how do I have all the time in the day to create this content and also run my business? It's impossible. Right. So you kind of need to plan ahead and start to think like, okay, if I can dedicate 1 hour a week to shooting a show, then I can outsource the editing. And then now I have 10 different pieces of content next week that can live and promote the show. So that's always my advice, especially for someone starting out. I mean, you want to throw a lot out there to see what your audience likes and what, they interact with the most, and then do more of that in the future.
So now let's talk about the beginner like me.
Yes.
What does a beginner need in terms of tools to start out making his or her own videos?
Not much. I will say start small. You don't want to buy a $10,000 camera and just think that that's going to make it seem more professional, because in reality, it's going to make everything much harder, and it's going to ruin the process, I think, and ruin the fun that video can be to make it. So if you have an iPhone that's relatively new, so a 10 or up, I would imagine, or a comparable Android phone, that's, I think, a good place to start for most people. And if not, a laptop with a webcam. You want to shoot in at least 1080p. And that might not mean anything to a lot of people, but if you're on your phone and you go to settings with the camera, you go to camera settings, that's an option that you have. And so 1080p is the standard right now for video streaming and for video online. There's higher resolutions, so 4K, you've probably heard that term before. Not really important for the average person. It's great to have, but it's much larger files. So you don't need that. If you shoot in it, I'll be happy. But if you don't, it's okay. And just having that capability on your phone, I think, is the first step. So a tripod for your phone so that you're not holding your phone like this and shaking it around while you're talking as much as possible. And then, so that would be the start. So a phone and a phone tripod is like A. If you want A plus, I would say a microphone that plugs into your phone. Okay. So something for audio. And then if you want an A plus plus, you could get a little ring light, or just having a window open in the right area of your house, and you sit there when you record videos, like I know you do, and you're golden. I mean, that's a great place to start. And you really, I think in the beginning, you want to feel that you like what you're doing so that you continue to come back to do it. You don't want to feel like it's a horrible chore, like, oh, I hate this, but I'm doing it for my business. You want to find a way to like it, because there are so many different ways to create that you want to play with things and find the one that fits you best.
Well, and that's exactly what I did during the pandemic. I invested in the tripod. I invested in a microphone. Let's see. I keep everything really handy.
Nice. There you go.
So just wanted to show everybody what I use. So this is what I call, or what is called a lavalier mic. So it looks like this. Perfect. And what I do is I string it up through my blouse, and then I'll attach it to my blouse, kind of like that. And then the other end attaches to the bottom of my iPhone, like that.
Perfect.
And so when I press record, it gives a cleaner recording. And then, like you said, so you're not holding the phone like this. I'm just sharing all my little secrets here. But I bought all this just last year during the pandemic. I didn't own a tripod.
It's so huge. It fits right in your drawer right there.
It does. It's small. I can even travel with it. And so the phone fits in here like that. And then I can set it up. And then I also have a ring light that has a holder for my phone if it's dark or if it's cloudy outside. And that's really all people need. That's it.
Yeah. That's like the basic tools and tricks that you need. Is like, that is going to get you really, really far. And you can tell the difference, just that little bit of quality, just having the steady tripod, having a little cleaner audio, it makes all the difference because your audience wants to interact and understand what you're talking about. You want to take away all the barriers that they could have to not watching you. So a shaky camera, some people can't deal with it, or if I can't quite hear correctly. So getting rid of that, now you have their attention.
And the other thing that I discovered was an app. It's a teleprompter app. So I'm really bad at memorization. So I have this app on my phone called BigView, BIGVU. And so I can type my script into my computer, upload it on the app, and click record, and then I can see the text. So that helps me to remember my lines.
Exactly. I mean, that's just an app. It seems like a tiny thing, but it makes all the difference when you need to say something exactly on camera correctly. You have it there, and it doesn't look like you're looking up at a script or down at your paper. It looks like you're looking right into the lens, but you have that comfort of having your words on the screen, and it's not, I don't know, it's not scary at all, really, because you have everything that you need right there.
Well, that's it. I mean, it gives that person a comfort level.
Exactly.
What advice do you have for those people who just cannot stand to see themselves on camera? They're like, oh my gosh. And a lot of people, I have to say, I read somewhere that the plastic surgeons now are busier than ever because people are looking at themselves in cameras all the time.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, some people just hate it. Like my mom will not go on camera. She doesn't like her photo taken ever.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to convince her anyway at all to do it. But if you're thinking about it and you think maybe it might be for me, I'm just uncomfortable. The best way to get comfortable quickly is to do it a lot. Yeah. So I would, crash course it, make a video every single day. It doesn't have to be long or intricate, but make a video every single day and talk on camera for 3 minutes straight. You don't have to ever post it. You don't have to ever put it anywhere. It's almost like writing in a journal and just say something write a script about your breakfast or just wing it, outline something. It's totally up to you, but you want to just get comfortable with doing it because I feel like the fear of messing up or the fear of what it will be like is scarier than just turning it on, recording, and kind of getting used to seeing yourself. That's what I would suggest because I feel like the best thing to see is a human face. And we were talking about thumbnails a minute ago, and there's research that shows that a thumbnail with a human face in it gets a higher click rate, much higher than a thumbnail without a human face. So I think we're attracted to seeing the person that we're going to be hearing from or learning from much more than just a random voice. However, it doesn't mean that you can't make content where it's you on camera the whole time. Another suggestion I would have is utilize B-roll. And what B-roll is video footage that you put on top of yourself talking. So kind of like how I use the emojis in your videos as like little graphics to talk about what you're speaking about. So if you're saying at a dinner party, I might put in an emoji of a little martini glass or, the salsa girl might pop up. But I also could use stock footage of people dancing or going to a party. Or if you're out and about and you're talking about Lake Eola or downtown Mount Dora, shoot some video of that. And then you can put it on top of your voice. So it's almost like a voiceover in that case. So if you're really uncomfortable seeing yourself, but you want to kind of get in the game, that's a good way to start. That takes a little bit of editing. So you'd have to either send it to somebody or download like an iMovie app on your phone and do a little bit of learning. But that's a good way to start to unravel the fear a little bit. Like, okay, I'm going to put this up there and see how it does. And then over time, maybe then put your face on camera.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because you don't have to be on camera the entire time. In fact, I think that's rather boring. Your job, Kayla, is to make somebody's video interesting. And it helps if you have something other than just that person talking, because otherwise
definitely. Yeah, there's tricks you can use. I'll zoom in or zoom out on someone's face to kind of just even keep the audience interested. Even any sort of movement is always good in video. So even if you're talking for 5 minutes, I'll have like a slow zoom in to show, okay, the beginning of a scene is beginning. And then at the end, I usually zoom out to make it feel like, okay, we're leaving where we are now. And it's just leaving these little visual clues for people watching to feel like, okay, I know what's happening, what's going on. So you don't want it to ever feel boring. Ever. Right. I mean, you want people to stay interested. And that's one thing I always hear too, is like, I want a very interesting, engaging video. I know it has to be 30 seconds or less, which I don't think is quite true anymore. It used to be, especially with ads. You don't want a long ad where you have to sit through it and wait till it's over to get back to, your show that you're watching. But with content now that you're creating for your audience about the topic that they're interested in, as long as you have the knowledge and have interest in it, you can really play with the time frame. You could go to 5 minutes, you can go to 10 minutes. It just depends on how much you're able to keep an audience engaged in that content.
And like you said, you could make a 20-minute video, and as an editor, you can break that up into little tiny videos. So the person can repurpose that and put it on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn. And these are all great platforms that I think will help build a person's brand, because video is not going to go away anytime soon. In fact, I think it's just going to get more and more powerful and important for people. And a lot of people, I think once they do it, they'll find that it's a lot of fun. And it's people like you who can make people like me look good and sound good. And so I think that's just the magic. You just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, take a chance. I mean, it's not like it's being broadcasted to the entire world. It could be, the world is there to watch it. But, the way it is now, if you make one video, it most likely is not going to go viral. Virality kind of is almost not what it used to be. Viral videos when I was in the news industry was like a cat is in a tree and look at this, walrus that's doing something funny. And now it's really not about virality as it is about creating a community and creating people who want to keep watching you every day or once a week and come back for your content. That really, I think, is the goal for most people in this space today, is to just get your name out there, get your content out there, and then have them come to you as an expert in your field, as opposed to making the most like viral video ever. You just want to make consistent, good, high quality content as often as possible.
I agree. And I also think video introduces your audience to you, as long as you're authentic, you're vulnerable, and I think you have to have some level of entertainment in order to hold somebody's attention. I could be totally wrong, but
I like to think about it as like a job interview. So if you have a job interview on the phone, it's never as good. It always feels like a little bit lacking. Like, okay, I wish I could have shown up in my business attire and really wowed them. or even when you haven't met someone, like let's say you're dating someone online, you're texting and then you meet in person, you can see them in 3D, you can hear their voice, you can, make sure everything's okay. That to me is what video is, because there's not only, visual, there's audio. So you can hear what the person sounds like. You could put text on screen so you can have more information. So it's really the three big pieces of media that, a photo can't do or a podcast can't do on its own. Video has everything. So to make a good impression, putting a video out there is, I think, the perfect way to get people to trust you faster.
And speaking of getting in touch, I have put your contact information on the screen, which is Kayla O'Brien Media.com. And Kayla, you're based in Orlando, but you don't have to necessarily live in Orlando to hire Kayla. You can live anywhere. In fact, I live in Mount Dora, and I've only met you once in person.
Yeah, that's true. We talk a lot via Zoom and via video.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's something that I'm really working on my end, is to come up with a system to help people who are in Colorado or California get the same type of strategy and quality from where I am. So my goal is to eventually hire my own videographers to shoot video wherever you are. And then I'll get the footage and we can do the same thing you and I do, where I edit your content so that it, fits your strategy without having to fly out and, all the travel costs associated. It's much, much easier nowadays. So that's my goal for 2021 into 2022 is to kind of get that system going. So hopefully, I think it's possible. But again, just doing it is the most important thing. So.
Yeah, doing it. And just, that's it. I mean, just taking a chance and doing it. So, well, I am grateful that you spent some time with me today and that you shared your knowledge with our viewers. And if anything, I would just say, if you are thinking about making videos, please start now. Don't wait until the right time. There is not going to be a right time. And I know it is time consuming, but as you said, Kayla, maybe you just schedule an hour a week or 2 hours a week where you do your hair and your makeup and cut your clothes. People don't care if you're wearing the same thing in your video.
No.
Sometimes they don't care.
I agree.
More after the content.
Yeah. And wherever level you're at, start there and then grow from there. If you need a helper at the beginning to walk you through it, do that. And then, a year down the road or a month down the road, you can do it on your own. You don't have to commit to a lifetime of creating the same type of content. You really can start small and grow, or start on your own and then outsource later. You have so many options. So don't feel like it's not for you.
Right. And with you as a resource, they can contact you for consulting. They can contact you for editing. They can contact you for the soup to nuts.
Yes, exactly. So if you have no idea like where to start or if it would affect you or your business or how you could do it, let's chat for, an hour, and I guarantee you'll have a better idea of how it could work for you.
Absolutely. And I've been really, really happy with my videos. And it's funny because when I haven't had a video in a while, people will say, oh, I haven't seen one of your videos in a while. But guess what? I can repurpose those. I can put them back on Instagram and so forth. People don't remember.
Yep, that's what you want. Your followers to ask you, where is the next video? That's the goal. So I'm so happy. Awesome.
Yes. Well, Kayla, thank you so much. And again, Kayla O'Brien Media.com. Can't wait to see how your business progresses this coming year and all the travels that you go on. I love following you on social media.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate being here, and this is super fun.
Thanks, Kayla.